Hey guys, and thank you so much for being here for my Twin Peaks killer reveal theory. Like it's like 25 years late, right? But we're still here. Just a heads up. So I've watched probably half of season 2. So I was a little hesitant to do this just because I'm not sure what else happens after that. So I'm on like episode 12. So if there's anything huge that happens towards the end of season 2, then I'm not going to know about it. So I apologize for that. I'm still trying to get through the rest of those episodes because I want to be ready for season 3, which comes out in May. But hi to Callie, Chill Zone, Vanessa, and Firkin. If you are here and you would like to say hey and get a shout out, do that now. But this is just kind of a follow-up from the video that I did I think last week, once I found out who Laura Palmer's killer was, I did a video where I just sat down and gave my thoughts about the series and the killer, which I thought was a very, very awesome reveal and very hard to predict. Hi, Chase. Thank you for being here. Hi, Abby. So Abby, I don't know if you've ever watched the show before, but the killer ended up being Laura's father, Leland Palmer, who thought that he was this guy named Bob a lot of the times, and he was Bob, I guess, when he was killing her. There was a lot of debate as to whether he was sometimes himself and didn't know what he was doing as Bob, or if he was just like a split personality, or if he had like a demon inside of him. I find that very confusing myself. I'm not sure if it gets explained later on in season 2, but for me, it's kind of confusing as to whether like this is kind of a demon, part of the supernatural element of the show, or this man just had a split personality. I would rather him kind of be faced with the blame of doing it, whether it was a mental illness or, or not, instead of there being a demon. But maybe there is a demon. Vanessa said you had a feeling that it was Leland who killed Laura when he started singing Get Happy, then he stopped at Judgment Day. I never even thought about that, but that's really interesting, and that's a good thought. I mean, Leland cracked me up when he was on the show because he was so bizarre. And honestly, I at first thought his behavior was just erratic because that was his way of coping with the guilt of his daughter's death, because his wife was acting very crazy too. But I'm pretty sure he was drugging her, and that's like the explanation for her erratic behavior. But he would just break out into song and dance like all the time, and it was just funny. But that was part of Bob's personality. I think that the guy who plays him, I think his name is Ray, he did such a wonderful job once he was in the jail cell and he was freaking out and like banging his head against the wall. And then when the sprinkler system went off, he just went crazy. I thought that was just a really powerful scene. Hi, Chanel, too. Thank you so much for being here. Firkin did not like the reveal that much because of the supernatural element. Yeah, I mean, I'm keep hoping that they're going to say something in the rest of this season, in season 2, and they're going to be like, it was actually him. It wasn't a demon. But from talking some to other people who've watched the entire series, they've led me to believe that it probably was a demon. Because other people have seen Bob's face, which is also weird to me, because, they even had a drawing of him as a suspect in the murder. So it can't be all in Leland's mind if someone else has seen him. So it's really weird. I am not really into the supernatural element of the show. That's one thing I don't really like about it. And I'm not typically into supernatural shows, even though I did like True Blood. So that was one of the things that I kind of struggled with. But, I've come to terms with it because I like the characters so much. Chill Zone's asking, was the reveal better than Scream's Piper Kieran reveal? It was, because Kieran, I felt, was a little bit obvious and easy to figure out. But with this, you know who the killer is now. But if you had watched it without knowing, I think it would have been hard for you. I don't know if anyone else can agree with me here, but if you watch it without being spoiled, I think that you might have some trouble figuring out who the killer is. Firkin says the reveal was shocking. That's true, but the fact that it was a demon, you don't know what to think about that. I personally don't like it. And I could even get behind he had a mental illness, and maybe Leland actually did not know what he was doing when he was this other person, Bob. But I don't like the fact that it was a demon inside of him and not a mental illness. It's just, that's a little much for me. But, it is the supernatural element of the show. So, hi, Ralph. Thank you so much for being here. That's just the way the show is. But again, I haven't actually watched it in a couple of days. I think I'm on episode 12 because I'm trying to watch 13 Reasons Why, just because I love it so much and I want to finish it. But I keep getting sidetracked with everyday life, so I'm still watching that too. Yeah, I think I'm on episode 12, Ralph, which I think I may have like 10 more to go, I think. And then I probably need to watch that movie fire walk with me, so I've kind of slowed down lately, unfortunately. I was watching one a night, and I actually haven't watched any probably since last week. Callie says the reveal is better when it includes mental illness because of the surprising contrast in the character. Yeah, I mean, I personally would rather it be an actual person who is doing the killings rather than a demon is inside of them, which I guess that's where they're going here. Firkin says you would have liked it more if it had really been the father. I completely agree. I wanted it to be him and only him. And again, I was fine with them saying he had multiple personality disorder. So Leland would never want to kill his daughter, but Bob did, you know. So that's kind of what I would have liked better. R. Stevens asked, would I recommend Twin Peaks to someone who's into contemporary drama? Well, you know, maybe. I mean, it's more of like a mystery show, and plus it's set in 1990. But you know, this new season's coming out in the new season that's coming out in May on Showtime is going to be set in present day, which I do think you need to watch the 2 previous seasons in order to understand that. But you know, for me, it was kind of hard to get into. Now, I don't know. I know a lot of people who watch my channel have just started watching it, so I haven't really heard from anyone if they had trouble getting into it. I think I've heard from a couple people that they like it a lot, so maybe that's just me. I'm kind of weird when it comes to that. Ralph said that I should watch it more to understand the supernatural possession part of it. So yeah, that's one reason I was like, I know you guys wanted me to do a live chat, but I was kind of like, I don't know if I should until I finish the entire television series, just because I can't talk about everything because I haven't seen everything. So yeah, I still have more episodes to watch, which may answer some of my questions and maybe clear some things up. And we might find out some stuff that I don't even know that you guys know. Vanessa says they still haven't said what the plot line will be for the new season. And that was something else I was kind of worried about. I've actually not been Googling season 3 at all, just because I'm not sure what happens at the end of season 2. So I didn't want that to be part of season 3 in like the promos or whatever. But from what people have told me, there isn't a lot of information about what's supposed to happen in season 3, which I actually think that's a good thing, whether I had watched the entire series or not, because it sounds like it's going to be a big surprise. And I think that's pretty exciting. But Ralph says the first half deals with Laura, and the second half deals with what's in the woods. And I think you're talking about season 2. Firkin's asking who is my favorite character. And this was very easy for me to answer because it's Shelley Johnson. Love her so much, of course. For those of you who don't know, which everyone should know by now, is that she's also the woman who played Shelley Johnson, plays Betty's mom, Alice, in Riverdale. Her real name is Madchen Amick. Thank you, Callie. I'm glad you like my shirt. Thank you. Vanessa says they said it will be a huge difference from the first 2 seasons. And Ralph says season 3 deals with the season 2 cliffhangers and what happened in the movie, which I'm not there yet on either of those. So I got to check that out. Chillzone says, in your personal opinion, the actual person doing it was more intense and shocking than the supernatural type. I agree with you. I thought, I just feel like everything about Leland and the transformation of his character and the reveal, I really liked it when he was going golfing. And I think he was going to hit Detective Cooper over the head with a golf club, like pretty much in broad daylight, definitely, but in front of other people. But I think they got a call, so Detective Cooper had to leave. Like, he was just so freaking crazy. And I kind of liked every time he looked in the mirror and he saw Crazy Bob. That was just funny. I mean, it's sad that he is like the psychopathic killer, but at the same time, it's funny. And the Bob guy is crazy looking and it's funny. Ralph says it's hard to pick a favorite due to a lot of lovable characters. So as much as I do love Shelley, I really like Detective Cooper. I mean, I pretty much like everyone except for the obvious, like Leo negative. I don't like him. I'm almost afraid to mention this one character because no one ever talks about her, and I'm pretty sure she must die or something, but I'll mention her. I don't really like Josie. I feel like there's something up with her. We definitely found out she was shady in season 1. And now where I'm at, she's trying to act like it wasn't all her. She was kind of forced to be shady. So I think there's something going on with her. I still don't think she's a victim. Pretty sure something goes down with her character because literally no one ever mentions her and she's kind of a big deal. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of hers. I don't like the woman either. What is her name? She like pretended to, she like faked her death. I don't like her because I think she's very conniving and shady. I don't like her at all. Vanessa says that Lucy is probably one of your favorite character. Lucy's very funny, and I love her relationship with Andy. That's awesome. I love their relationship. Ralph says that Bob existed at one point. You feel Bob molested Leland when he was a little boy. So that's good. That's a good thing to point out, that Bob was a real person. So I don't know if his spirit got into Leland or what exactly, but maybe they explain that. Jamie, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right, says you're a few minutes late, but that's okay. You're up to season 2 and just finished episode 9 when the sprinklers went off. Are you talking about that, or are you talking about the rest of the show? I'm on episode 12, season 2, so we're about in the same place. And yes, we talked about the sprinklers going off. I'm not sure if you're asking me if I was talking about that in regards to Leland's death scene, but yeah, definitely if there's more sprinklers, I don't know, but probably not, because if you're on 9 and I'm on 12, we're good. Nadine, I think it's Nadine, right? She's kind of like one of the people who's in control of this plant, and now she's made Josie her maid. And right, as Ralph is saying, which I said a little bit earlier, that people have seen Bob, so I guess he's a demon people can see. I mean, right? So I don't think he's still alive when Leland's alive, right? I mean, when Leland's an adult, right? Callie says it could be interesting if a possessed man would be in a relationship with another character, and that this character preferred the possessed version of him. You may be ahead of me in the show if that goes on. I don't know, but interesting, definitely. Let's see, who else do I like? I really like the sheriff, and the sheriff, as Ralph told me, the guy who played the sheriff retired from acting, so he's not going to be in season 3. I think he's awesome. I really like him. I think he's a good guy. Of course, he's in love with Josie, and I feel like that's just going to go up in flames. Who else do I like? Oh, well, I like Donna, but it's funny because I guess Donna and I feel like Donna and Shelly are kind of around the same age, but I really like Shelly more. But I still like her, but I don't know why she's not like you would think she'd be like one of my favorites, but she's not. But you know, and I like James. I don't really like Bobby, honestly. I just feel like he's very shady and conniving, but he seems to really care about Shelly. But it's like everybody is hooking up with everybody in this show. I can't trust people. Oh, Catherine, that's who I'm talking about. No, Nadine, it cracks me up. Okay, I know who Nadine is. Catherine is Pete's wife and Josie's sister-in-law. That is the one I don't really like. She had that affair with Tony from West Side Story. What's his name on the show? The big boss man, Mr. Horn, Ben Horn. She had an affair with Ben Horn. And I like Audrey too. At first I didn't really like her, but I actually really like her now. And I'm wondering if she's ever gonna date Detective Cooper when she's older. What's up with that? We have to have that happen, right? Okay, so you haven't watched it, Callie. Okay, so for those of you who are here who've never watched it, I hope that doesn't like discourage you from trying it, because we are giving you some spoilers. But I think everybody knows from the title that spoilers would be involved in this. So hopefully you're still going to watch or try it out. Why did I have problems getting into the show? Again, this is going to make me sound crazy, but I probably talked about this somewhere in comments or maybe in my video. I did not like the setting for it. It's just the whole part of it being in 1990, but like, okay, for example, I can watch This Is Us and they have scenes from like 1980 and 70s. It doesn't really bother me because it looks modern, okay? But even though I know it's in the past, but this show actually happened back then. And I know 1990 wasn't that long ago, but I thought that was weird. I thought a lot of the people were weird. The smoking all the time was weird. Just the way people, I just felt like everything was weird. And it is kind of weird. But now I've gotten used to it. So I'm cool with it. And I really do love the characters, most of them. Ralph says Shelly is the teen's older friend who dropped out of school to marry Leo. Okay, so she's a little bit older, which is weird because she looks about the same age to me as Donna and as Sarah. And I wanted to ask, so the girl who played Sarah's cousin, is she the same woman who played Sarah? Like, they look a lot alike. I know they're supposed to look alike on the show, but is that the same actress? I need to Google that. Ralph says, if I'm paying attention, Audrey wants to be an FBI agent. Oh, that is why she wants to help Coop so bad. So I'm feeling like that's going to happen. Yes, I remember her saying that, but I also know like she has like this huge crush on him. So I don't know. I know she's like too young and he's not going to go there, and it may never happen in the first 2 seasons, but I'm hoping something happened in season 3 with all these years going past. Vanessa says the actors and actresses who play the high school students seemed older than they were supposed to be. Definitely. And I know, I mean, we say that, but then, you know, we've got people who are 30 on Pretty Little Liars, but thankfully they've graduated, but weren't they like mid-20s? I mean, but to me, they seemed, you know, like they could pass for high school. I don't know. Ralph says that Laura and Maddie are the same. Yes, so same woman is playing Maddie, the cousin, and Laura, who we don't really see, but we see sort of like in photos and stuff. I agree with you, Chill Zone, that you like horror and mysteries. Those are my favorite types of shows. But yeah, I don't know. Like, if you told me to watch something else from like 1980, like, and I would really struggle with that. Like, I don't, that actually was filmed then, you know? I mean, like, I can do Full House, I can do like old Full House and stuff, but it's just, you know, that's not even the show's fault because that's when it came out. But like, I've seen a couple of like Beverly Hills 90210, the original, and they're just like, nope, I can't do that. I did watch like the new Beverly Hills 90210, but I kind of quit that after a while. So Ralph says the actors who were playing the teens were like 1920 when they did the roles. So that's not much of a stretch, honestly. And I know there's been all kinds of movies or TV series where people were 29 or whatever and playing a high school kid. So that's really not that much of a stretch. Chill Zone says you just really love Scream. You also like Scream Queens and got upset with the reveals. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Scream Queens, I think won't be back. But I'm just waiting for that final word. And Scream, I have no idea what's going on with that. That's up in the air too. So, you know, and, you know, when you're watching this show, you're anticipating the third season. And that's a reason why I've told you guys to watch it, because I want to cover the third season. That's going to be a new show for us to cover. I think it's just going to be like a one-time thing, a one-time series or season. Final season, I guess. It's kind of a weird situation. I don't think there's ever been a situation where a show had their third and final season like 25 years in the future. So it's probably like, you know, a groundbreaking scenario here. So it's a big deal. So I'm glad that we're on board, or a lot of us are on board. Fatima says there was a new 90210. Yeah, but it's been a few years ago. So if you saw it, you may have thought that was the original 90210, but the original one I think was in the 80s, but maybe early 90s. But I actually was into the new 90210 for a while, and then just kind of dropped it. It wasn't that I hated it or anything. Oh, I never saw the Melrose Place reboot, and I never saw Melrose Place, old Melrose Place. Teddy, who are we talking about, Callie? Teddy from what show? I'm getting confused now. Jay is asking, should I watch this show, and how come season 3 is premiering soon if the show is from the 90s? So this show, apparently, I can't remember what Ralph is like, the Twin Peaks expert. Did you say that they planned all along to do 25 years in the future, another season, or that was kind of just said and then it ended up happening? But I guess how it ends in the 90s is that they make some kind of mention about 25 years in the future. And so it's been 25 years since it ended, and now Showtime is putting the third season out. So since I haven't seen the final episode, I'm a little confused. Oh, Teddy from 90210. I remember him. Yes, I do remember him. Vanessa's asking, do I think when the original cast retires, will they reboot it? Are you talking about Twin Peaks? You know, that would be interesting to me, but it probably isn't interesting to like people who are diehard fans who watch back in the day. Sometimes people get upset when things are rebooted when you're like a fan of the OG, whatever it was. You know, it's funny because as much as I don't like older things, like my dad is a big horror movie fan. And when I was little, he made me watch like all the old 80s, like Friday the 13th, which is kind of crazy because I was a kid, but like, you know, they were old at the time, but I didn't care because I was a kid. But anyway, like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and all that stuff. And I feel like they rebooted some of those things and they were just bad. And some of them were bad anyway. But what was it that they rebooted recently? Oh, Halloween. They've rebooted that like so many times and they just really aren't that good anymore. Charmed, I never watched. I do know what you're talking about. And I know like Alyssa Milano and then the mom from PLL was on there, but never watched that. Ralph says there's a part of the story that is not resolved till 25 years later. So that is a lingering mystery. So I guess what he's trying to say is that's kind of our cliffhanger to get us to today. And I just feel like this concept is crazy. And I wonder if at the time they thought, is this really ever going to happen 25 years later? Because could you just imagine if PLL ends and they said, but check in with us in 25 years and we'll tell you who A is. Of course, that would be a very annoying ending, but we would all probably like be screaming and be like, that's probably never going to happen, and be mad. I don't know if it was that type of cliffhanger, but you know, I think it's a very interesting concept. Tomas says, try not to spoil anything, but in a Twin Peaks documentary, they said if a third season would ever happen, that it could be about Cooper fighting good versus evil on the small town. And we do know that Detective Cooper aka Kyle MacLachlan, is back and starring in season 3. I've never watched Slasher Chill Zone, but a lot of people have recommended it to me. It's like one of those shows that is on my never-ending list of things to watch, which isn't going to happen soon since I'm trying currently to watch 2 series and binge them and get them over with, not because I want them to end, just because I need to move on. I need to get those finished, you know? Ralph says TP season 3 was almost not done, but the power of fans and the actors made it happen. So is this something that's been in the works for a long time, or did it just come about recently? And do you think at the time, 25 years ago, they really thought this day would ever come? Vanessa says they probably will do that for PLL 25 years later, knowing Marlene King. Well, I would be super angry if that ended, PLL ended with like, we can't tell you who A is. Check back in 50 years or something crazy. It's like, you know, how mad do you think fans would be? I think they would just be furious. Do I think that flirting with horror movie killers is a good way to survive? No, I think, Callie, that if they want to kill you, it doesn't matter what you do. If you even pay them or whatever, you're going to die. You know, if you're a target, you're going to die, especially if they're like a serial killer. They don't care. They just want to kill you. It's more fun for them to kill you than for you to flirt with them. Tomas says, are you planning on watching the new Marlene King series, Famous in Love? Yeah, I will watch it, definitely. I'll give it a chance. It doesn't look terrible to me, but yeah, I mean, it's Marlene, so I don't know. I just, I don't know if I'm going to cover it for my channel or anything, but I'll check it out and see what I think and then make a decision. Then Vanessa says we do get a killer reveal in Slasher, so that's good. I'm sure you guys are happy about that. I've just never seen it, but a lot of people have told me to watch that. But back to Twin Peaks. Let's see, what else should we talk about? Ralph says, just because the actors are back does not mean that all the characters are alive. Some we don't know what capacity they're playing. Right, so just because many of the actors are still alive who were in Twin Peaks, we don't know what storyline they're going to go with. In their storyline for season 3, some of these people could have died and somebody may be playing something else, like a relative or something. I don't know. We don't know. I think that's a good point to make because, you know, we just don't know what it has. So much has happened in everyone's life in 25 years and since that time. So who knows what's happened in Twin Peaks with the actual characters, not the actresses and the actors, but the actual characters. So I'm sure it's not going to just pick right back up and everything's going to be the same as it was, because that is a very, very long time. There's probably new kids, new grandkids. I can't even imagine what has changed. People have moved away, I'm sure. There's new people who are moving to that town. So, which is going to be exciting if I can ever finish this show, so that, you know, I must finish this show so that I will be ready for season 3 and it will all make sense. Will I post a video about your YouTube? Okay, yeah, I will. So I don't know if you guys know, I'm going to be gone a couple of weeks at the end of this month. Mostly it's going to be like the first week of May, which was going to prevent me from doing shows on any type of current shows because I'll be overseas and won't have a way to watch those shows. It's just going to be too impossible, because even with iTunes, it won't let me purchase a show with a US account. I've even looked into that, and I just probably won't have the time. As much as I usually try to do, like when I'm on trips, I try to still do videos on shows and watch them from wherever I am. It's probably not going to happen, but yeah, I'll make a video because I know not everyone has social media. I definitely was going to post about that on Twitter closer to time, but I can make a video. So for those of you who, you know, don't get on Twitter or whatever, you can see it there and find out where I am or why I'm not around. Jamie's asking if there's just one movie after season 2. I think there's just one movie after season 2. Vanessa says there are a lot of guest stars for the new season, some of them that I'm actually excited about. So yeah, and I guess it's just one season, right? Just season 3, and then it's over, right? Or is there the potential for more seasons? I don't know. Michael, is it Sarah? Is that how you say his name? Is in season 3. I have a theory who he will play, but won't say till I'm done with season 2. Thank you. And thanks to everyone who's watched the whole thing for being cool in this chat and not talking about stuff that I haven't gotten to yet. Now, who's to say what will happen once I put this video on my channel? Because that's when, like, the trolls seem to really enjoy it when it's been up on the channel and we're not actually live. But I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for season 3, but I know I'm going to be way more excited for season 3 after I finish season 2. And the other thing is, like, it's funny because I get so many tweets about 13 Reasons Why. So I'm so wanting to watch that before I finish Twin Peaks, just because so many people are like, what do you think about it? What do you think about it? Because I'm going to do a video at the very end of 13 Reasons Why when I finish it. And I want to like hurry and be able to do that. But I'm so torn because I know I need to be watching Twin Peaks too. And I also very much enjoy Twin Peaks. Ralph says Fire Walk With Me, which is that Twin Peaks movie, is both a prequel and a sequel. Vanessa says Naomi Watts will be in the new Twin Peaks. I think Laura Dern's going to be in it. Again, I haven't checked it out too much about what's happening in season 3 or who's in season 3, because I don't know. Not only am I concerned that there's info out there from the people who made season 3, which apparently there really isn't. Sometimes when you get on those things, there's like comments, and then I get sucked into that, and people are saying things that might spoil something for me. So just to be able to Google the cast, which I did recently, was huge for me, because I'd been not allowing myself to do that, because I knew as soon as I did, it would say like, so-and-so, Laura Palmer's killer, and then I would just be like so upset that that was spoiled. Callie says it's weird when in a series there is a shocking killer reveal and the actor of the killer played a good character in another series. I guess you're trying to say, like, if the person's a villain in one show and then they're like the good person in another show. That's weird. But you know what's funny is that usually villains are villains on other shows, and sometimes you can figure out in a movie or a show who is the villain because that person always plays a villain. Because usually the people, not always, but usually the people who are always playing the innocent good people play that role everywhere. And then the villains are like the villains everywhere. Jay said the sad thing about Marlene is that she is a good writer. She has produced amazing episodes, but her writing went down after season 5. Yeah, I mean, I used to be like PLL's biggest fan, and it's not that I'm not a fan anymore, but a lot of, if you've watched the entire series, you know how frustrating it is, how frustrating she is. And I really don't know what happened, but the first half of season 7 I thought was really good. So I am not going to be devastated anymore. I was devastated with the reveal of the last A, and I'm just not going to. So I don't have my hopes up really high for that A reveal because I'm not expecting a lot. So if it ends up being somebody super lame, I'm not going to freak out anymore. It's just like, whatever. It's just a TV show. Ralph says, looks like Jim Belushi will play a big character in season 3, which is very interesting. I am kind of familiar with him, even though he's from the past. And I know his brother was John from SNL. Tomas says Amanda Seyfried, yes, is also in the new TP revival. Is she? Now that's cool. I like her. Very cool. You think she's probably another victim. Yeah. Although I don't feel like she's a high school. I don't see them casting her as a high school age person, but maybe the victims aren't high school anymore. Because I don't think she's probably maybe 30 now. I don't know. But, the person could be after different age groups. Brianna says this year, or the year change. I'm having trouble reading this. It's not as bad as Scream's reboot, but I'm not sure what you're saying in the first part of it. I'm sorry. If you could type that again. Ralph says when they have the annual TP festival, you can actually stay at the Great Northern. And actually, Vanessa sent me a link to that on Twitter, which I think would be so cool to stay at the hotel where this movie or this show was shot. How fun would that be? I would be all about that. It's probably really impossible to get into that convention. But Ralph says there are 217 new actors part of the cast. That's huge. And again, Ralph, is this the end, like season 3, is that it? Or is there a possibility of a season 4? Callie says there's a horror movie named April Fools. It would be great if the first episode of Scream season 3 was April Fools and that the reboot was a joke. Yeah, sure. I'd be so happy with that because I don't think anyone's happy with what they've done with Scream. Vanessa says that Amanda could play a reporter. Yeah, who knows what she'll be playing, what role she'll be playing. Who knows? But I like her. I'm really glad she's in the cast. Chase, you might want to refresh your browser if you can hear me. Sometimes that resets everything. Tomas says the Laura Palmer house was up for sale a year ago. That's really cool. That's interesting. Vanessa says it's actually really expensive to stay at that hotel. I'm not surprised. And Ralph says it depends on the reaction and ratings of season 3. So if you guys watch season 3 and you really like it, just remember to be really vocal about it on social media, especially Twitter. They look to see if certain, like if stuff is trending on Twitter. Because I remember reading that Big Little Lies trended on Twitter the week before the finale, and that was a really big deal to producers. So yeah, so Vanessa, she's 33, 31. Amanda's 31, so she won't be a high school student. Probably not. I don't see her in that role. I mean, that'd be kind of a stretch. But again, if you enjoy it, make sure you're vocal on their Twitter. They already have a Twitter account. I haven't looked at Facebook, but there is a Showtime Twin Peaks Twitter. I'm sure there's probably an Instagram. There's probably everything you could ever imagine having. So if you enjoy it, you know, your responses, especially on social media and people like me making videos, I think are going to factor into them having another season. Ralph says Twin Peaks coming back is actually a pretty big thing for TV. Yeah, I mean, I think it's unprecedented. I think it's huge. I don't think this has probably ever happened, this same scenario ever. Brianna says, is it Brianna or Brianna? I'm sorry, I want to get it right. Says this year, the year change in Twin Peaks 25 years is, oh, so 25 years later is weird. It's not as bad as the Scream reboot. I think you're trying to say that it's weird that it's 25 years later, but I really think it's cool and crazy and interesting. But you might be trying to say that 1990 is weird. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. So it used to be on ABC. Okay, thank you. Chillzone says if you get it, if Emma can't return or her mom, they should just kill her off in the premiere. Well, as for Scream, the show on MTV, I'm hoping that they try to wrap up what we've seen in the past 2 seasons. If they are in fact going with completely new people and a new storyline, maybe the first episode can reference them in some way. I don't feel like the actors will be in the show because they all don't work for that show anymore, but you know. Someone was saying that Twin Peaks copied American Horror Story. I must have missed that comment. Yeah, definitely Twin Peaks was, I mean, American Horror Story came out, what, just a few years ago? Yeah. Tomas says, have I checked out the new Ryan Murphy show Feud? I haven't, probably am not doing it anytime soon. A lot of people have commented that it's really good and asked me to watch. So I'm probably missing out by not watching that. And I'm sorry, but I just don't see me fitting it in anytime soon, especially with Pretty Little Liars coming back and then Twin Peaks coming back. So is it okay? All right, Brianna. I'll just call you Brianna. Hopefully that's right. I don't know if it's like Anna or Anna, like A-H-N or, you know, whatever. But yeah. So is there anything else you want to talk about regarding Twin Peaks and the new season before we go here? Oh, really? It's in San Francisco? Oh, you mean Twin Peaks is the name of a city in San Francisco? But the Great Northern is actually in Washington State, right? Ralph says the reason that the 3rd season is not on ABC was that David Lynch took things too far, and that's why ABC gave Twin Peaks the boot. So here's the thing about this, which I haven't thought about until now. With this being on Showtime, it's going to completely change what could happen in the show because it's very tame currently, the old ABC show. Of course, it was also probably a more tame time in television in 1990. But, you know, a lot of stuff doesn't go down on the show as far as pushing the envelope. But now that it's on Showtime, anything can happen, right? With language and, you know, just dream it up. It could happen pretty much anything. So that's really going to change the, you know, element of the show because they have a lot more freedom there. And that's probably why he wanted to go with having it on Showtime. I'm going to review Orphan Black, and I haven't added that. Do you know when it comes back? I've been seeing them talk about it on Twitter, but I actually don't know a date for that, and that's probably really soon, isn't it? Of course, it's the final season of Orphan Black, so I can't miss that. I'm sure it's super soon. Okay, Ralph says Twin Peaks is a show that should be on cable. It is a show that should have swearing and nudity. That's what I've been thinking about it. It's like, I feel like it kind of wanted to go there, but it definitely didn't at all. And it's probably because it couldn't on ABC. So, you know, that's really going to change things for it, you know. So, June 10th. Okay. Thankfully, I will be here when that premieres. I'm excited. I am very excited for Orphan Black's final season, but also sad because I really like that show. I will add that. I actually haven't updated or added any shows that start in June, but I will add that to my list. Definitely going to do that. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. So if you think of anything else we didn't discuss that you wanted to get to, or if you couldn't make it live and you're watching this on tape, watch it. I feel like I'm talking about 13 Reasons Why, like cassette and VHS tapes, right? But anyway, leave that in the comments below and I'll reply to all comments. Thank you guys so much for being here. Even those of you who've never checked this out, maybe you will check it out. Again, it's on Netflix, seasons 1 and 2, if you haven't checked it out yet. Yeah, 13 Reasons Why does have a lot of, I was noticing the F word a lot, but I think honestly it's pretty realistic, to be completely honest. But there is a lot of F words on there, you know. But they can do what they want because it's Netflix. Ralph says Twin Peaks is the first show to show a character doing heroin, and ABC didn't like that. Have I seen that already? Maybe. I could see that. And I mean, I feel like now maybe ABC is not cool with that. I mean, I feel honestly like Twin Peaks is going to be a better fit for a show channel like Showtime, where they can have more, you know, freedom. Jamie, yes, check out 13 Reasons Why. It's really good. A Scream Season 3 video. I just really have no idea what on earth they would be doing for Season 3, but I plan on watching it, so I will do videos probably, unless it's just terrible once it airs. But as far as a predictions video, I have no idea because I don't even know. I feel like they're doing a whole new storyline, so I can't even predict what would happen. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and we have Riverdale Thursday, so I'll have a video up Thursday, Friday, the Riverdale reaction, not reaction, that's Thursday, Friday, the Riverdale live chat, and Saturday is my Riverdale theory video. But thank you so much for being here. I loved reading all of your comments, and I can't wait to see the rest of Twin Peaks and Season 3. So bye, guys.